Welcome to Sew and Tell, where sewists from fashion, theater, and indie sewing bring their different perspectives to the hottest topics in the sewing community. I'm Amanda Carestio.
I'm Kate Zeinard.
And I'm Meg Healy.
Today on the podcast, we are talking goals and forecasting for this brand new year, 2021. After that, we'll each share inspiration in our SewJo segment, and we'll ask you to share something too. Also, one quick note before we jump in, our release schedule is changing. We are going to release one new episode per month for the first part of 2021. In the meantime, we'll be shining a light on some of our favorite past episodes and planning our next Sew and Tell live event because that first one was so much fun.
Yeah, I cannot wait to do another one.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Totally awesome.
So before we jump in on our topics today, how are you both doing? And welcome back, Kate.
Thank you. I am doing much better. As you can tell, I'm able to talk, which I wasn't for the first week and a half after my surgery. Poor Mark had to put up with a lot of texting and whiteboard communication.
Oh, so tough.
I know, but I'm almost back to normal. I have a little bit of pain when I yawn or sneeze really hard, but the rest of the time I feel perfectly normal. I have my strength back. I'm feeling really good. So I did want to thank several of our listeners who contacted me or commented on some of my Instagram posts wishing me a good recovery. I really appreciate it. It made me feel very loved.
That's so sweet.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, very sweet.
Kate, I'm not sure if you got to do a lot of sewing over the break. I'm guessing probably not. But Meg, I know you did a ton of sewing.
Oh, yeah. It was so nice just to have that little break and just not really a schedule. I just got up and just couldn't stop sewing. I literally couldn't stop my hands from just cutting out like more stash fabric. I added everything up in a tally and I made 16 garments.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
it was
what were the official results? What patterns did you do?
Okay, so I made 2 Zadie's, 2 Fremantle pants, 1 pair of Pietra pants. I'm actually wearing them right now. 1 pair of Nini's, 2 Ogden camis, 6 Berta tops, 1 Cielo top, 2 Eva tops. Yeah, and that's it.
That's
Wow.
it.
That's all.
That's all. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
I'm feeling very unimpressive right now. I mean, I managed to break open my kit from Maywood Studio that they sent me when they were sponsoring our social, and I don't quilt very much, but I enjoyed this because it was all pre-cut for me, and then I've been embroidering it today.
Oh, that's nice.
For the quilting, yeah. So, but that's all I've managed to pull off. Certainly nothing like 16 garments. Wow, Meg. Wow.
I think I was just feeling so like I was just at home. Jillian was still going to work, and I think it was probably just probably helped relieve some stress because I was sad that I couldn't go home to visit my family, and it was just something to. It was definitely a distraction. I didn't need all of those clothes. Definitely not. But it was just I couldn't stop.
Yeah, I did do a little bit of sewing. I didn't really have big plans, but I did a lot of that, like, oh, I'll just do one step. Oh, let me just do this next step and see where I get to. And then, an hour later I've finished. And so I did a lot of that. I did some sewing for my skating. I also did a lot of skating.
No, I was going to say, hopefully you got some skating in.
I did. I'm breaking in some brand new skates. And, but yeah, it was pretty lovely, pretty good reset, pretty good quiet way to start the year. So with that, why don't we go ahead and jump in? Our first topic for the day is sewing goals and resolutions. And we've been doing this show long enough for you to know that I am a resolutions lover. Except for this year, I'm finding sewing just brought me a lot of joy and happiness in 2020. And I'm kind of having trouble wanting to rein that in. Like, I kind of like that it was joyful and simple, and maybe I kind of want to stick to that. But I am hearing that from other sewists, but I'm also seeing a lot of people create really great goals for themselves for their sewing this year. So I wanted to get together and talk about your approach. And I thought we'd maybe start with taking a look at what your 2020 goals were, knowing that year kind of just took a different arc than we were all expecting.
Kate, did you have a resolution last year?
I had a couple resolutions. I kind of honestly have trouble remembering them. And I did not go through the effort of digging out the magazine that I swear they were listed in. So I know that I resolved to do some sewing from my stash, and I wanted to work on a pants sloper. And I feel like there was one other thing, but I don't remember what it is. So we're just going to ignore that. I definitely did absolutely zero work on a pants sloper. After we had that great conversation with Ray Cumby a few months ago, I was feeling very inspired, and then it kind of fell by the wayside, what with recovering from surgery and everything. I'm going to use this as an excuse for as long as I possibly can. And so that never actually really happened, and I don't feel particularly bad about that, because there was no way I possibly could have predicted that I was going to experience what we experienced in 2020. I mean,
right.
If pants sloper was not something I managed to be able to mentally do, then whatever, that's fine. I did do a little sewing from my stash, not the way I thought I was going to. But I did a lot of mask sewing from my stash, and I picked up like my Sew Your Roll came from my stash. I finally sewed a shirt from some fabric I bought in 2019. So I feel like I did okay with that one, for sure. How about you guys?
My resolution just didn't happen at all. Mine was to sew for the home. I came across in my planner, I was going through it, and it was like curtains, and I had a little checkbox, and it was like 2 pillows, like check. And I didn't do any. I just didn't feel like I had planned to, but I just was using sewing so much in the year. I think I mentioned this, last episode, but I guess I did one thing. I did technically make a tree skirt this year because we got a tree, and by making it, I took a scrap piece of faux fur, wrapped it around, and pinned it in the back.
Okay, maybe that counts. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a perfect bubbly camouflage. When he goes under the tree, he's just disappears. It's the exact same kind of brindle color as him. It's so cute, and he's been eating it. Last night I had to take the biggest branch out of its mouth. So I think it's going to be sad to see it go, but I want to keep it up as long as possible because it just makes me happy.
He's loving it.
Yeah, he's loving it. How about you, Amanda?
So I did have a fabric ban in mind, and I pretty much blew that like 1 month in. But I did do a lot of sewing from my stash. I sewed masks from my stash. I sewed, I did a little, when I did the craft tour trip to London in 2019, and in 2020, I finished sewing up all the fabrics that I bought on that trip for like a nice little collection, which was a nice little mini project. But in general, I definitely bought fabric. I bought fabric from different places in 2020 than I normally would. Like I found a new source for some secondhand fabric. So I did a little bit of experimenting there, but definitely added to my stash. My other goals were to slow down, so savor the process and focus on finishes. And I don't think I was very successful. I was going to take on more involved projects, and there were a couple of more involved, particularly hacks. Like I had a few bigger hacks. And then my other goal was just keep sewing, which I did. Yay, I did one thing.
Yeah, you did.
I sewed a bunch.
You did that one for sure, yeah.
I didn't do as good with that one as you did for sure. I feel like my sewing fell down a lot in 2020, which I know you guys discussed last time, but I wasn't here, so. everyone obviously is very interested in knowing that I didn't sew as much in 2020 as I expected to.
I've seen people, on Instagram in particular, it's both ways. Like some people sewed a ton and some people sewed a lot less than they had in past years. So I think there's no norm there for sure. Let's talk about this year. Where do you fall on the resolutions spectrum? Do you have them? Do you not? And if you have them, what are they?
So I'm feeling like this year is so mysterious. Like, I don't know what this year is going to turn out to be. I really don't. But I know that it's not going to be a normal year. So I'm feeling like I don't want to make a lot of hard resolutions, especially since I'm still kind of struggling with the 2020 not desire to sew. And so I have some things I'd like to do, but I'm not calling them necessarily resolutions, just hopes that I can accomplish sometime in the next 12 months. So I want to keep sewing from my stash. I have discovered when I cleaned my sewing room over the course of the pandemic, I discovered I have a lot more stash than I thought I had, and I need to do something with some of it. So that includes my big pile of linen that I bought last summer. I made some tops with half of it, but the other half of it is still sitting somewhere around here, probably above my head. And it has been earmarked for some cropped pants, and I want to actually do those in time to wear them in the summer. I have not yet done my last Sew Your Roll. I had some plans and then things got derailed and then I was not sewing at all. And so I totally missed that deadline, but I would like to actually do it because I found a fabric that I really like. I just have to order some and, figure out what I'm going to make with it. So, and then I want to be, I'm going to steal Amanda's actually from last year. I want to be a little bit more mindful, take my time more. I definitely also discovered while doing some cleaning that I have too many clothes. I don't have enough storage space for all of them. And so I need to not just, make a new garment every week because I don't have anywhere to put it. And I need to be, kind of take my time and
you need to buy a new garment rack. That's what I do.
Yes. Meg, if I had any idea where to put a new garment rack in my house, I would. But yes. And then also sort of related, but not actually a sewing resolution, I do want to get better at Instagram. I want to, especially how nice everybody was to me. Just those few posts that I've done, remembering that I was having the surgery and reaching out to me and everything. I want to be more part of that community, but it doesn't float to the top of my head, and I need to kind of get in the habit of doing it. And so that is my sewing related semi-resolution.
Then
that was kind of a long list for someone who's like, I'm not going to make any resolutions.
I know. No, it's good. Just some guidelines.
They're guidelines. Too. They're hopes, not resolutions.
Dreams.
Hopes.
Yeah, I am also feeling kind of non-committal because sewing was such an escape for me in 2020, and I got a lot of joy. I had a lot of fun doing it, distracting from what the other things that were going on in my life. And I'm committed to continuing having fun sewing in 2021. That was kind of where I thought I was done there. But as I thought about it more, I do have some sewing related goals. One is to get a little bit more adept with my serger, really kind of increasing my know-how there, largely in pursuit of, I sewed a lot more athleisure type stuff in 2020 for my skating and for my work from home lifestyle. And I think that really, I have a lot of clothes too. And I think the only thing that's like close to something I need would be some more workout wear and athleisure. And I've had a lot of fun figuring out what my sporty style is, which is kind of different from like my everyday style. And I'm going to do a little bit of thinking about that. And whether it's a capsule or I'm going to try to come at it from that specific angle. Definitely going to try to focus on some stash sewing. Continue sewing for my husband. I did a lot of that in 2020, and it made him so happy. It's made me happy. I think there's probably a lot of skill building to be had there, particularly with fitting, trying new patterns. One thing that's actually not on my official list, but I've been thinking about it a lot, is just trying more new designers. There are so many independent pattern designers.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's one of my favorite things about this community, is that there are all these, small independent businesses, many of which are run by women, to support. And I'm interested in trying some new to me pattern designers out. And also thinking about the ways that I can give back to the community. I think that, Kate, I definitely, being part of particularly the Instagram sewing community, got me through the year. In a way, like maintaining connection with people, going through this shared really big experience and kind of interpreting it and dealing with it through the lens of sewing. Really, man, it helped me in so many ways. So I'm really thinking about ways that I can give back, share my knowledge, and help just be a positive force there.
Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, but I just gonna continue doing what I feel like making, or continue sewing when I feel like making. If it's 16 things in one. Yeah, I have no like sewing project specific goals. I'm just gonna, what I feel like it, I'm gonna make. But on the other hand, I do want to just some other kind of sewing related things. I've had a lot of friends reach out to me that have brought their sewing machines like out of, the closet. And I just want to be more of a mentor and there for my friends and letting them know about this. I think you could do this, Pat, and kind of being there for, the people in my life who have embraced sewing in the pandemic. I have like several friends that, and even, some family too, that I just want to, maybe I should host like a friends and family sort of like Zoom that I can just get, everyone in my life that are kind of getting back into sewing. My one friend, she just purchased some fabric the other day, and because she's asking, she goes, do you think this would be suitable for this because when you start online fabric, you just don't know. So just kind of helping them through that. I really want to do that. And I decided I'm bringing back Meg's mashup this year. I'm going to do that. I've done it for so many years. It just fell off the wayside with it, not really being on burtastyle.com anymore. So I'm going to bring it to my own personal blog. I've been wanting to get more involved in my own kind of personal blog and doing some more of that stuff. So I thought that would be a super great home for it. And I can still get me to, I love the idea of, sewing one pattern from the current Berta issue, because I still like love Berta patterns and their fit and style and everything. I do love them. And I'm still affiliated with them in some ways. So yeah, I'm going to bring back the mashup. I've gotten so many emails and like, I enjoyed Meg's mashup like so much. And so I'm going to bring that back. And I'm not buying any ready to wear clothes. No.
Nice. Well,
so that's it.
That's all.
That's all.
Oh my gosh. So we kind of touched on it a little bit in talking about goals and resolutions, but I was curious, do you have any specific garments in mind, or garment types that you need and you plan to make more of in 2021? Or on the flip side, are there any garment types that you are maxed out on, you don't need any more? Mine is definitely, my standing answer to that is elastic waist pants, because I just keep making them and I'm not sorry. So
yeah, the only thing that I could possibly say I need more of is elastic waist pants, and or I still want to do some overalls. I haven't gotten there yet.
Me too. I haven't either.
Yeah, I actually had a dream that I had made some overalls the other day, which is weird because I never have dreams like that. And they were white corduroy, which was awful, and they did not fit well, which was awful. But it kind of, made me feel like, okay, now I need to go make a pair of overalls that I really do like. But I'm still trying to figure out fabric and stuff like that. So I definitely do not need any more tank tops. And I am hoping to make some more outerwear, both outdoor and indoor, some like hoodies and or cardigans. And I'm still someday I'm going to finish my Peace Tamarack jacket. I'm kind of hoping to work on that sometime this I guess it's technically winter. See if I can, move along on that a little bit. So
I do not need any more turtlenecks at all. I have so many like those 6 Berta tops that I sewed, they were all turtlenecks.
All turtlenecks.
Pretty much. No, I made one like tank too. But I do need more like dresses. I find like I love wearing them, but I just don't. I make so many separates like tops or jumpsuits, but I want some more dresses because I really love wearing them, and in the fall and the summer too. So I want to make more dresses. And what a Roscoe dress I want to make. So like that is, I need to make that
so comfy
in 2021,
Love
and a
that
blouse
dress.
version too. That's a must, and also the Wilder gown. Those are my 2. They're a little bit similar, but I still want to make them both.
Yeah.
That'd be a cute like little comparison post too, like little notes on those. But I love those both, so that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah. I think for me, it's really about athleisure. I've spent a lot of 2020 making leggings, my kind of flare leggings. And I think that that impulse kind of kicked on in the fall. And I don't actually have a lot of me-made kind of summer active wear pieces. So I think that that's going to be on my list. And I'll probably just...
I see more biker shorts.
More biker shorts.
Yes.
I'm a fan.
I loved those ones that you posted.
Oh my gosh.
Your stories.
But I'm going to just keep on making some elastic waist pants because they're my favorite. Oh, yeah. I'm actually in the process of making some overalls right now. So we must be on the same wavelength. But
which pattern?
I'm using the Roberts Collection dungarees by Maria Walker, and I've made it before as like a pinafore dress, and I've made some canvas overalls. But I'm making a new pair of the overalls version, hacking them a little bit. But I'm actually making them from a tablecloth that I picked up at the thrift store, and it's like the world's most boring tablecloth ever. It's literally just like tan canvas, but it's a nice weight. And I don't know. I'm pretty excited about them because overalls in the pandemic, like so comfortable. Love them.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, for sure. Thinking about how you will plan your year. I feel like I used to be so good about making a monthly plan, and whether it was the pandemic or just wanting to sew whatever popped into my head because of the pandemic, but I definitely fell off that this year. How are you guys feeling about how you'll approach planning your projects?
I never plan. I impulse sew, and I am not going to pretend that this year I am going to change that because we all know I'm not going to do that this year.
How about you, Meg?
Yeah, at least with the my only plan, I guess, would be the mashup because it is, from the current issue in that month. So, but other than that, I'm not really planning.
Have you seen? We've talked about the kind of Make 9 plans. It's an Instagram challenge. There's a hashtag. You basically find. I've seen a couple versions of it. The main one is it's Make 9 Challenge 2021 is the hashtag. You put together a grid of 9 patterns that you want to make in the year. I've also seen people do it with regard to stash fabric. So like picking 9 fabrics from their stash that they want to make and creating plans around that as a way to kind of kickstart that more stash focused sewing. I've done Make 9s. I didn't do one last year, but I've done them pretty regularly, and I never stick to them. I'm not sure why, because I love the idea. It's like a challenge that relates to sewing and planning, like should totally be my cup of tea. And I just usually don't stick to them. So anything like that you're thinking about? I do like the idea of doing a Make 9 for fabric. So really starting with the fabric rather than the specific garment.
Yeah, like 9 swatches.
Yeah, exactly.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, maybe put that on the list.
That sounds a little bit more accessible to me than the patterns, but I still feel like that puts a bunch of pressure to, do something that might not be giving me any SewJo, when it comes to October. And I'm like, okay, well, I've got 5 more things I've got to sew off my make 9, and I don't want to make any of them, but I challenged myself, so I guess I got to do it.
I mean, not that that ever works with me. Yeah, I mean, I think it's less about the challenge and more about the intention with those kinds of challenges, like, especially with the fabric side of things, like try to get re-excited about fabric that you bought at one time because you were excited about it, and try to, so much so that you actually sew it up. Be lovely.
I actually drew up a make 9. I've already made one of them. The free mantle pants were on there, and I've already made that. And I have an Amy jumpsuit cut out. So some other ones I have a Roscoe blouse, a Sparrow tee, a Fen dress, the Axis tank, the peppermint pocket skirt, a Berta kind of knot top, and then I want to make another Kawartha cardi jacket.
Oh, nice.
So,
I have the peppermint pocket skirt on my list as well. But
nice.
Yeah, I have another tablecloth lined up for it.
Oh, yeah. That's a perfect tablecloth skirt. It's like the perfect picnic skirt.
I know. It's
so
like
cute.
just picnic
I love it.
on my lap. It'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Well, that was inspiring. I think our feelings about goals, I'm definitely seeing both sides reflected in the sewing community. So, yeah.
I'm scared of what I'm going to cut out tonight.
But that's kind of the beauty of it, right?
I know.
Well, let's take a quick break and then we will hop into our second segment.
No one could have forecasted in 2019 that tie-dye sweatpants would be a top, worn, and trending wardrobe staple for 2020. But entering 2021, things are still evolving and can't simply be switched to business as usual kind of coming into it. So let's talk about some forecasted trends for sewing and some social challenges that can actually, keep us inspired and connected in the new year, kind of knowing a little bit more of, I love the word that you used, Kate, mysterious. It's a mysterious. We don't know,
Agreed.
but we're like, we're cautiously entering it for sure. So I wanted to I have 2 resources that I thought were really great. This Refinery 29 article did some forecasting for fashion trends. And this is not runway specific. It's based on, people's emotions and kind of the economics going on right now, as well as from the Craft Industry Alliance. They did a craft industry trends for 2021. And I thought that they recapped it really well. So we will definitely link those and we can just kind of talk about what both of those articles had in them. So I'll kick it off with, it's the Pantone Color of the Year release. I always get excited about this release. I don't know about you. Do you guys even follow them?
I don't anticipate it, but when it comes out, I always find it interesting,
Yeah. I always want to know what it is before it comes out, and then I don't realize when it comes out, and then I learn later. And
it's anticlimactic.
Yeah. Well, this year they probably thought that we needed it, but they released 2 colors of the year that kind of go together. It's gray and yellow. And it's the message of happiness supported by fortitude. So the combination of, Pantone Ultimate Gray with the Pantone Illuminating is aspirational and gives us hope. We need to feel that everything is going to get brighter, and this is essential to the human spirit. So that was kind of their quote for the background on these colors. Well, are you a fan of yellow and gray together?
I was thinking about this. I am. And I don't love yellow, but I do love gray and all shades of black, as you know. But I was on a really big yellow and gray kick 7 years ago. I was making more mini quilts, and I feel like maybe the yellow and gray combo was something I saw a lot of in the modern quilting side of things. So it doesn't feel super new to me because of that, because I already went through like a yellow and gray phase.
Yeah.
It wasn't related to garment sewing because I wasn't doing as much garment sewing at the time. But I really love the reason behind their selections, and I applaud them for that. I don't know if those colors necessarily evoke those emotions for me, but
that's what I was going to say. So unlike Amanda, I love yellow. And gray, I can kind of take or leave. It's gray, it's great for pants and shoes and, the stuff that your attention isn't on. But yeah, and as a combination, I think they're absolutely fine. But again, the gray doesn't seem to say everything is going to get brighter to me. Gray is, it's a cloudy day.
Yeah,
and
it's ominous.
And I guess maybe they're thinking, the transition from gray to yellow, putting something like that might be what they were thinking. I don't know. I think the gray is a little depressing for that particular message, but what do I know? I
think it's like a cute gray. When I saw the color, I think it's a cute gray. Yeah, I don't know if I love them together. I realized, I feel like this has been a big home decor trend I've seen in wallpaper. I can really see a wallpaper with gray, and I wouldn't choose it for my own decor. I mean, it doesn't have green in it, but I do love yellow because it's one of the ingredients to make green, isn't it? Yes. Is that the right ingredients? Yes. I guess when you're thinking about paint, but I don't know. I liked it. I'm excited to see kind of how that transitions. And I just was wondering, I get like when they predict what the year's were they last minute being like, we need to switch out what our color was going to be. I just always think about
yeah, maybe it was like
sounded like
an even more depressing gray. And they were like, we better tone it down.
yeah. Oh, it was, and this like weird kind of like eerie color. Anyways, so
pea soup.
Yeah, so definitely, a pea soup. I mean, I know you and I, Amanda,
I'm down with pea soup.
But actually, Etsy, they brought their color of the year out to be sky blue, which I think is a great color for the year as well. That's a really, I guess they all kind of work together in being like the gray, the yellow,
kind of
that's
uplifting.
All sky colors. Yeah, it's uplifting, looking up. So that's interesting to see kind of their two perspectives. So moving on from color, crafting picked up huge in 2020. And I don't, the article, predicts that maybe it will still remain prominent, but there won't be that huge jump. I don't think a lot of people are that didn't start crafting in 2020, start in 2021. Right. But Pinterest is seeing so much embroidery content.
Like
embroidery is really they called it the new tie-dye. So that's what kind of crafters that they're elevating their craft a little bit. So embroidery, I think, is going to be a huge thing that people are going to get into. Maybe they started sewing and they kind of want to do something, else. Maybe some more cross-stitching kits were just like skyrocketing. And I mean, I bought 3 myself. I had never bought one until last year. So I was definitely a part of that. And I think we're going to see kind of those extra crafts get really popular in 2021.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about like the crossover crafting. I'm seeing, a lot of people it's interesting. Like I think we'll see a lot of people who started sewing in 2020 take those next steps, maybe try their first garment, maybe, just kind of try to level up from very basic projects. But I'm also seeing a lot of people who predominantly sew, do more quilting, people who sew, do more knitting. I think as people kind of experiment with the different paces of those different crafts and kind of select what they need at the moment. But I along with like knitting and hand quilting and cross stitch, those are definitely very like, I don't know, calm, rhythmic, kind of close to your body type of crafts. So I could see those being big right now. Also with just the season, I think that it's, nice to snuggle up on the couch with something that's a little bit more portable.
Yeah, for sure.
Also very easy to do while binging.
It's true.
Yeah, I mean, I can't sew because while I watch TV, because the TV is in a different room, and I can't hear well enough unless the volume
because you need your eyes on the
cranked
TV
up.
and machine. Yeah.
But I love to knit while I watch TV or cross stitch, which I haven't been able to do for a long time because the cats like to help in a very unhelpful way. They like to help with the knitting too, but I can usually work around the knitting. I can't work around the cross stitching.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's a good, good thing to do while, getting in all that good Netflix content that they're rolling out for sure.
I'm also really hoping that tie-dye doesn't go away. I have to say,
I don't think it will.
I got some really lovely, they weren't tie-dye, they were ice dye, but I got some ice dye sweatpants and a sweatshirt from Anna Joyce Designs for Christmas, and I love them. And when I got those, it like kicked off this whole like bleach dyeing experiments, and I did a little bit of ice dyeing, and I kind of love it.
Yeah. That's so fun. All right, so let's just jump in like a little bit. I just want to overview what Refinery 21, 29 said about 2021. Geez, so many numbers. So kind of the general forecasting trends that can lead kind of into our sewing. So a lot of local maybe embrace more non-big box fabric stores, maybe even for notions and zippers and stuff. I've been, curbside picking up to kind of more the zipper store instead of just going on Amazon and ordering thread or something, just local for less strain on the mail delivery service. And I think that's a big trend. I think we'll keep going to really the businesses really need us, and definitely now going to 2021. So local for a lot of things, and especially sewing notions and patterns and fabrics and all that stuff. And then patchwork. Patchwork a little bit in fashion too. People using up their scraps, lots of dead stock from designers anticipating they have all this fabric, that they probably bought forecasting, there's 2020 collections were probably planned and purchased for forever ago. And so lots of dead stock and kind of reusing and repurposing fabrics. And then soothing shades. So that they said pastel, sorbet, that's the new neon. Like these calming shade things are, as I'm staring at I bought this highlighter yellow jersey and I made like 3 tops in it that I'm still.
I'm looking at your neon Palmer pullover over there.
I know. I mean, for me, I could never give up my neon. I love it. Yeah, I'll have to show you, Kate. I'll share it in the SewJo segment, my Palmer pullover that I made. And then embracing upcycle again. People maybe you're spending less on new clothes or even sewing fabric, like utilizing what you already have. And even the general population getting into, and new media platforms like crafting for TikTok. There's lots of young people creating these videos. Right. And that's something I want to, I every day I'm like, oh, should I get a TikTok? Only because I also love to dance, but I could see, engaging new audiences and having really fun with crafting and giving people upcycling ideas and gaining more inspiration. There's so many, new talent coming up. And so that was just kind of a little note too.
I've seen a lot of pandemic bingo on Instagram, where did you order an alcoholic beverage to go? Did you,
Oh, yeah.
There has got to be one for sewing, because I did the patchwork thing. I did the upcycling, and I've done.
We should make one.
We should. It would be really fun. Or combine them all into like one amazing pandemic cliche project. Like I'm kind of dying.
Did you drink an alcoholic beverage while?
Yes, exactly. While making your patchwork ice dye sweatpants.
Did you sew with no pants on?
I mean, I don't know if you guys have done that. Like whenever something comes up that I'm just like, this is the most pandemic thing ever, like
Yes.
I'm making leopard print biker shorts that I can wear skating. Like it's just, I'm waiting for that one like perfect pandemic metaphor.
Did you try and cut your own hair? I was like, Amanda, your bangs look fabulous.
Thanks.
Did you cut those yourself?
I did. I cut them on New Year's.
I need to do that.
They're a little too short, but
Oh, I like
Thanks.
that.
Well, that's fine. In another, week, they'll be perfect.
I know. And then they'll be like too long instantly.
Yeah, that's how bangs work.
I know.
That's why I don't have them.
I'm on the sides. Yeah, I'm on the side sweep evolution of my bangs. Yep. I need to cut them. But I'm staring at Amanda's like, they look so perfect.
Well, thanks.
Well, actually, that reminds me of just kind of this cool content in quarantine. I think it was So Anastasia. She had a video where her partner, she put her hair down on a rotary mat and then he used the ruler and the rotary cutter to cut a trim straight hair.
It's crazy.
Isn't it crazy?
It was wild. I don't know how.
And I'm sitting here with my curly hair, looking at you two with your straight hair, and thinking, how easy you have it.
Indeed.
So, what are your forecasts for 2021? What do you think?
So hard to know, but I've seen some things, and I think there are things that are going to kind of build through the year. One is definitely that crossover crafting.
Yes.
I think, especially, I'm seeing a lot of people in the sewing garment world feeling like they've probably got enough clothes. So thinking about what else they can do that's going to fill that making need. I think we're going to see a lot of body positivity.
Yes, for sure.
Which makes me so happy. A lot of comfy clothing, more athleisure patterns, kind of more specialized athleisure patterns, maybe. Seeing a lot of people experimenting right now with projectors for sewing. So you project the pattern onto your fabric, skip the paper altogether. And I think it's an idea that's been around for a couple of years, but I am just suddenly seeing people talking about it, experimenting with it. We do have some content coming up in Sew News, talking about various techniques with that. But
I just don't know how I feel about it quite yet. I guess I can't knock it till you try it. But
yeah. I'm kind of intrigued.
I don't know. I'm intrigued.
I'm coming around.
Definitely
it's taken
intrigued,
a while.
Yeah.
I like the concept. I need to know more about how you make sure you've got the right size.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I think it's just like on the PDF. You have to measure you've got your square and you make sure it's the right size. So I don't know. We'll see.
But definitely, that's a good projection. Yeah. I've been seeing. Oh my gosh, a projection!
Does that count as a sewing pun?
Yes,
I think so.
Great.
I think so.
And that's good. That's good because that count hasn't changed in like a year and a half.
I know we've been slipping.
We've got to get better.
I do think we're going to see kind of that next progression of content focused on beginning sewists who are taking that next step.
Yes.
That's been so lovely to see. Just there's a lot of people who started sewing, and I think they're going to continue sewing. That's definitely my hope. And I think that people found it valuable in 2020. So hopefully they'll stick with it. I think there's going to be a continued focus on online learning, but fingers crossed, like I was loving the kind of sewing retreats trend that we saw more of in 2019 that really felt like it was kind of building up speed and building up momentum. So I am fingers crossed. And I think, after this, there's probably going to be a lot of caution, but I think people are going to want to be together, and
yes.
I really hope we can just kind of pick back up where we were with sewing retreats and carry that forward, because
we'll have to plan a huge meetup. We'll have to.
I didn't go to sewing camp yet. Like I need my chance to go to sewing camp.
Yeah.
So that's it for me.
Well, I agree with a lot of Amanda's stuff, and I don't have a whole lot to add, but I was thinking just kind of as I was as I was thinking about it, I was remembering actually something I learned randomly in a class I took in college on it was American history and film, and they talked about how the film trends reflected the the trends in the real life. And so in the 20s, when you had the roaring 20s and all of that crazy fun stuff, you had these like really depressing films. And then when you hit the Great Depression, that's when they wanted the happy musicals with a lot of dancing and fun and not thinking too hard about stuff. So on that same level, I think that the beginning of the year is definitely going to be very focused on comfort stuff, comfortable, loose fitting, everything like that. But if the vaccine works the way that we have been hoping it would work, and we start to get back to a sort of normal way of functioning where people can be around each other safely near the end of the year, I'm guessing that there will be a growing trend towards more fitted clothing and like some sew frosting sort of stuff. Get out of the comfort clothes and start showing off once you're around people and can show off again. So that's just a thing that I think
the pendulum.
The pendulum will swing from
be a good
comfort. Who cares what all I care about is how I feel to I really care about how I look now. That's my prediction, assuming the vaccine goes well.
Okay, well, let's just quickly jump into some sewing challenges. So there's a bunch of, I will also include a resource for the Fold Line has a really great article kind of outlining year-long challenges that you can do. Sometimes it's, if you have been sewing, maybe you just need a little, get out of your comfort zone, something to challenge you. We already talked about the Make 9, but there's so many more that you can get involved in. Is there any sewing challenges or even like hashtags that you follow or you plan to do in the new year?
I am infamously bad at Instagram. And like I said earlier, I am. I'm very bad at Instagram, and I'm going to try to get better. And that may or may not involve participating in some sewing challenges, but I don't know what they're going to be yet. I really need to focus on just remembering to do it on a regular basis before I start getting into the more complicated stuff. So that's my non-answer for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm enjoying being on my own little whatever I want to sew is what I'm going to sew next. So I think it'd have to be something really good and creative to tempt me away from that. So yeah, I'm feeling non-committal about the challenges this year.
I'm scrolling through this list, and there's one called Dress Like Your Grandma. It's a vintage sewing pattern challenge, and you can follow the hashtag. So cute. Dress Like Your Grandma. And I love that so much.
That's pretty great.
In the meantime, I'm just like, that sounds like a house coat to me. Comfy. I like it.
You could ice dye it.
You could ice dye it.
I'm going to ice dye everything.
I still need to do the Dress Like a Crayon. I think I'm coming close. I made some pink pants, and I'm going to I'm actually in a matching outfit right now. Like my top bottoms, I'll just stand up so you guys can see. Maybe we can take like a screenshot. Can someone take a screenshot? Yes. We can upload to the show notes. Okay. We can see. My whole pants are leopard.
So perfect.
It's I know. So I'm dressed like in the form of like cheetah print. These are my Pietra pants that I made. Yeah. So yeah, tons of fun inspiration and wow. I want to sew.
Yeah, I know.
I've already made a pullover this morning. What else can I possibly do?
Well, let's hop into SewJo and talk sewing inspiration. My favorite part of the show. We'll just go round robin and each kind of talk about what is giving you inspiration. Let's start with you, Meg, since you are like on fire.
Everything is giving me inspiration. I'm having too much inspiration. Yeah, it'll probably change. I don't even know like what I'll even say this week because I'm still just in this like sewing mood. At least I have some work projects now going that Amanda and I are doing something next week. And so I'm going to be making this adorable blouse for that. So that's kind of getting back into the kind of more structured part of my sewing work life. So that's been kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
Kind of steer me back on track. Yeah, a little structure. So how about you guys?
I have, as I mentioned, I've been working on a mod from Maywood Studio, which is basically like a kit. It comes with the backing, the binding, and all the pieces pre-cut, which is awesome because I hate cutting. If I'm going to be piecing, that is why I never piece anything, because you have to cut things and I don't want to. So I've actually really enjoyed piecing it. I've had a raging amount of frustration because for some reason my embroidery machine did not want to embroider the quilting on this thing. And I was having thread break every, 30 seconds. It was making me nuts.
Oh, no.
Wow.
And then something I did earlier today finally convinced it that it was going to work. And it might be done upstairs. I'm not sure. It's either done or paused for a thread break. Hopefully it's done. And then I just have to do a little bit of bits around the edge, and then I can start binding it, which I'm strangely excited about because I never quilt anything, but I'm quilting this one, and I'm enjoying it. And there we go.
Yeah.
And then in the meantime, I am cracking up looking at Amanda's notes. So I want Amanda to tell us her SewJo because it's killing me.
Well, I had to write notes just in case I forgot, because I'm definitely feeling all over the place. Nothing has changed about that. But as I mentioned, I'm really into tablecloth repurposing at the moment. So I've mentioned it a couple times already.
Aren't we all? There's a phase. We all have that phase.
I've been talking
No,
with one of
joking.
my Instagram contacts because she made the peppermint pocket skirt with this amazing tablecloth with she repurposed the edge along the bottom and it had these little tassels. It's so
yeah. I mean,
cute.
that's the best part.
Exactly.
Repurposing those.
So I don't know. I've just had good tablecloth mojo at the thrift store. So I have a few projects lined up. But I'm also, as I mentioned, really feeling the athleisure and activewear impulses. So I'm actually taking a class from Meg on So Daily.
Ooh, are you taking
I'm
it?
going to take it. I'm in.
Will I see you in class?
I should be there. I will be there with my leopard print or my cheetah print. So it's the Sew and Draft Your Own Personal 7-piece workout wear collection workshop. And I'm really excited because, like I said, I just kind of hadn't really thought about this, like what my activewear style is. And it's not, I think there will definitely be some overlap with my everyday style. But it's kind of a new and unique challenge, how to take my new love of neutrals into activewear and maybe sew some neon stuff. So
yeah. And I show how to, I always use this technique, like the easiest bra shelf ever, like in a yoga tank or a tank top. It's so easy. We'd always think it's so intimidating to do like a built-in bra shelf.
For sure.
It's really not that hard at all.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yay. Yeah, I was this morning I was watching the Palmer pullover sew along. So I was watching you on my screen. We were pinning the zippers together. So now we'll
just helping each other out.
Trades.
I love it. Yeah. Tradesy.
Yeah, a couple of like last week, I listened to your guys' last episode, the one that I wasn't on, and I was cutting something out or sewing something, I don't remember, but it was so nice to just have you guys hanging with me while I was doing my my sewing. It was like experiencing being one of the listeners, but I really enjoyed it.
That is fun.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah. So speaking of listeners, we all gave our SewJo, right? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, we got. Yes. So we have tablecloths and quilts and just lots of random stuff.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Sew and Tell. So last episode, we asked you, how did your sewing change in 2020?
All right, I'll go first. We got a comment on Instagram from Super Gael, who said, "It was a good sewing year for me. Because of the quarantine, I got to spend a lot of time at home, time in which I could sew more, experiment with different fabrics. I'm also trying to learn how to hand embroider, but that's a different story. I feel that. I also noticed that I don't actually need so many fancy dresses and started focusing more on making basics and wearable items. I hope you girls had a wonderful Christmas and wish you all the best for the new year. Greetings, Greetings from Vienna, Austria. That
I
feels
dream
special.
of your city. I dream of it.
Get to
My
go back
husband has-
maybe someday.
Yes, my husband has vowed that we need to do Christmas in Vienna one of these years. So,
Oh, that would be gorgeous.
Yes, it's supposed to be just beautiful. Oh, so jealous.
Love that. Love that comment.
Also, we heard from Chumper Bumpers, which is such a fun
That's
username.
great.
Oh, I'm obsessed.
Who said, I made and donated a ton of face masks, so much that I broke my sewing machine and was lucky to be able to get a new machine. Isn't that right? I am self-taught through online videos and tutorials. I made time in the past few months to make handmade gift items for family and friends and hope to learn more in 2021. That's awesome. Self-taught is hard.
Yeah.
It is hard, but it's definitely doable. And I love all the sewing face masks that
Yes.
broke your machine.
Broken-
That's so funny.
Oh, it can do it. And you were lucky.
I broke so many
I broke
needles.
tons of
yeah.
needles making masks.
So
I don't
many
know why.
needles.
And,
Yeah,
and you
I
were
understand. Definitely not
so
allowed.
lucky to get a new machine because, man, they were hard to get a hold of.
Yeah, they
in the middle
were.
of this year.
They were. They were. Then our last comment on Instagram from Ori H. Jorgensen, they said, I sewed almost exclusively for myself. I usually make gifts, but I decided there's not enough time in the day to sew something for someone that might not appreciate all the time it takes.
Hey,
Heck
man.
yeah.
I just love that. I love that. I had to add that. I think you really get me.
Yeah. Me too. Me too.
And me.
And we see you.
Yes, we do. Remember, theater person spent many years sewing for other people, and now I sew for me and occasionally my husband, but only masks and that one T-shirt.
That's amazing. No, we also just want to plug in our free sew along that's going on right now, and you have until February 1st. Am I correct?
Yes.
To register, and this pullover is so cute. I made one this morning out of. I'll have to show you, Kate.
Meg, you're going to have to
I
put that
already-
on the show notes. It is
I
like
will.
the most glorious combination of lime and pink I've ever seen.
That is amazing.
Fuchsia pink fleece and lime green fleece, and I did like a contrasting black zipper, and I added, there's a blog post going up about kind of this athleisure wear, and I included how I added a drawstring to the hood, so a little hack there too. So
I love it so
That
much.
is-
sure you don't.
I would love to wear that. Please feel free to send it to me. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, you can join. Why
I
don't you join
know.
the
I just
sew-along?
need to make my own.
You do.
But I don't.
I know.
I don't have your lime green and
that's what I
fuchsia
mean.
pink fabric.
Oh, you mean to send this exact? Like,
Oh, yes.
I
Send
see
that
what you
exact
mean.
one to me because I love it. Or just send me the leftover fabric so that I can make an identical one.
Ooh, there you go. Yeah. So don't miss it while it's free. It's a super cute pattern. And it, like hoods, you would think that they're hard to sew. They're really
Super
not hard
easy.
to sew.
They are.
I'm going to
Super
put a hood
easy
on
to sew.
everything.
Oh, put a hood on
Put
it.
a hood on it.
Yeah. So we want to know, do you have a sewing resolution for 2021? If not, okay, just what are you forecasting?
Yeah.
But if you have a resolution, let us know. We want to know.
Or
Just-
if, like me, you have no resolutions but just hopes. Go
Yeah.
ahead and let us know your
Hopes.
hopes.
Light commitments. Inklings.
This is my new thing. Not resolutions, hopes.
I like it.
Hopes. On that note.
Yeah, that was a fun episode.
That was super fun. That was great. I'm so glad you're back, Kate, and
Yes.
feeling well. You
me
were
too.
definitely in my thoughts over the holiday.
brutal.
Oh, thank you. It was
Your kitties must have loved having you. Were they all over you?
okay, so about the second day or something, this at night, I was laying asleep and I wake up just a little bit because Romulus has crawled up on top of me and has laid down on me, which is completely normal for him. And then all of a sudden, there's a cat fight happening on top of me because Maggie has attacked him and driven him off of me. And I'm pretty sure she was protecting me. I'm pretty sure it was like, oh no, she is wounded. You get off. And I'm like, I don't
Turf war.
care if Romulus wants to snuggle me. And also, I don't really think a cat fight on top of me was the best thing for me right now, but I appreciate the sentiment. And then she basically
so cute.
didn't leave my side for the next 3 weeks, but yeah, it was adorable. Yeah. But that poor Romulus, now he's afraid to like come onto the bed at all anymore, and have to try to teach him it's okay now that I'm healed up. And
well, give him a big hug for me, and happy stitching, everyone. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
There's a saying, isn't there, at the start of the year?
I think that's it.
I think that's it. All right, bye everyone.
Bye-bye. Sew and Tell is a Sew Daily podcast and produced by Golden Peak Media. It's hosted and produced by Meg Healy, Amanda Carestio, and me, Kate Zeinard. Daisha Clay is our producer. Director of podcasts is Jared Mayer. Tiffany Warble is Director of Content, Kelsey Ratterman handles our marketing, and Andrea Lotz does all things digital. If you'd like more information on sponsoring or advertising on Sew and Tell, go to goldenpeakmedia.com.